G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I've got a very special video for you. I'm going to give you the full guide to Laos, how to recognize the country, how to get insane guesses, and just everything about Laos that will help you get really good at the country in GeoGuessr. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I'll do is how do you identify Laos? Then the easiest way is you got the poles, which are these square ones. They've got some dots in them, as you can see here. They also got these little wires running everywhere, but yeah, they look pretty much the same as Thai poles, so good thing to keep in mind. Thai and Lao poles are pretty much the same poles. You won't find them really anywhere else, or we can find some ones in Sri Lanka, but yeah, just to keep in mind that Thai and Lao poles are very, very similar. But yeah, and also you got the Google car, which is just the bars and the mirrors. They use a similar one in Guatemala and a similar one in Kyrgyzstan, but Kyrgyzstan and Guatemala look a bit different, well, especially Kyrgyzstan. So yeah, but it's good to know. Every city, has this Google car except one. And you also got the license plates. They're yellow. In Thailand and Cambodia, they'll be white. Also in Thailand, they drive on the left side, whereas in Cambodia and Laos, they drive on the right side. So in Laos, they drive on the right side with yellow plates, and that makes it distinct from Cambodia and Thailand. Next, I want to cover the cities with official coverage. First, we got Luang Prabang, we're just up north here. We got Vang Vieng, which is just north of Vientiane, which is just near the border of Thailand. Savannakhet, also near the border of Thailand, but just down here. And we got Pakse down south here. And yeah, those are and you only get city coverage in Laos, no rural coverage, all around the metro areas of all these cities. Some pretty cool cities, but yeah, you only get coverage in more urban areas than rural areas. So yeah, we'll go by city, and we'll start off with Vientiane, the capital city. And I'll just show the coverage of each of these cities. This is Vientiane. Everything from the side of this black line, all this here is all actually Thai coverage, so don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to everything on this side of the black line, as yeah, that's all the coverage you get in Vientiane. These bits out here could look like Thailand maybe because it's all very rural and that, but good to keep in mind that you can get some coverage way out there as well. As I said, the Google car that I just showed earlier is in every city except Vientiane. As you can see, there's no Google car visible, just a massive blur underneath you. If you look down, there'll be no Google car, just a blur. And yeah, probably the easiest way to tell it apart from the other cities in Laos, if you're playing no move. This is what the center looks like. This is very busy. You've got some divided highways, some buildings. Yeah, just looking very busy. It's the most developed city by far in Laos, and the one with Street View. It's by far. So if you're in a very, very developed city in Laos, you're probably just in Vientiane. Next, I'll just have a little show you quickly about the north and the south. They're just more the residential kind of areas. You got down south near the river, and down up north, a bit further north, just an inland. Yes, this is what it looks like. You get this reddish soil on the side of the road, but with no Google cars. It's the best thing to keep in mind. And you have all these residential buildings everywhere. I also wanted to show you guys the Mekong River, as that river goes through quite a few cities that are covered in Laos. It looks like this. It's got a very distinct look to it. A lot of these places I'll show to you and cover have very distinct looks to them, and one of them is the Vientiane Mekong River. You can see the other side of it, which I think would be, they'll be in Thailand, so it'll be Thailand way down over there. But yeah, just a very distinct look to having Vientiane, and you can get some very nice scores, maybe even some 5Ks if you recognize this part of Vientiane. Right, next off, we'll move to Luang Prabang. And Luang Prabang, as you can see, this is the coverage. It's fairly full, I'd say. There's obviously all these streets here don't have coverage, but I think most of it is pretty well covered. You got the coverage way up just in this point of the river here, along here and down here, all the way south where it looks a bit different, I'll show you, and around the center. So this is what we got, the same Google car with the mirrors and the bars. This is what the center looks like. You got these rolling hills in the background, you got the buildings in the foreground with some palms. You can find some palms because we're near the rivers, so there's a lot of palms you can find in the Luang Prabang. This is usually on very narrow roads in the center. Not many major roads or very narrow roads. Around residential areas you can find there too. So yeah, this is what the center kind of looks like. A distinct look, I think, as well. This is what the Mekong River looks like. Again, another very distinct look. As I said, throughout this video, I will show a lot of distinct looking areas, and this is one of them. Mekong River, as you can see, just peeking through. There's the river. Obviously, got a ton of palms. We're not right next to the water. Yeah, we got the road. So why don't I say that? We've got, and here's in the southern Luang Prabang, where you got more hills. It's more rural in southern Luang Prabang, as it is quite a bit more rural there. Yeah, there's still some palms there, but there's a lot more hills around you. You're pretty much just surrounded by hills. It's another very distinct part of Luang Prabang, and in Laos really, is when you see like this very rural kind of looking area with lots of rolling hills and a few houses. You're probably just in southern Luang Prabang. And this just will quickly show you the mountains in Luang Prabang. They're just these sort of just stand looking ones. You find a bit all over Laos, but yeah, these are the Luang Prabang ones. You probably find them, apart from the southern parts, you find them in the background as you're in the location because you have all the urban stuff. And yeah, you look into the distance, you can just see these mountains. But the reason I'll show you because they're quite different from Vang Vieng. As we can see, the coverage is quite limited, I'd say, in Vang Vieng. Not much covered really, just on the main road, the 13. And then we got just a few roads covered in the sort of central area. As you can see, same on Google car, mirrors and bars. But these are what the mountains look like. Very, very, very distinct, I'd say. Just the easiest mountains to recognize in Laos is the Vang Vieng ones. They just look at these very rocky and kind of spiky. I don't know how you say rocky. Yeah, they're probably just very rocky kind of mountains. Very distinct. It's very difficult to explain because they're just that distinct. It's very difficult to explain. But yeah, this is what they look like. If you just, again, you can just go around exploring on Google Street View and just like have a look at these mountains, and also the parts of the Luang Prabang I've described and all these places I've described. Just go ahead and go to Google Street View and just have a little look around and you can get a bit of a look at it. But yeah, this is what the Vang Vieng mountains look like. Very, very recognizable. Yeah. And that's it for there because there's not much coverage there. We are now on to Savannakhet. As you can see, about half of it's covered. You got all these roads still uncovered here, but you got all these roads in the west half covered, the central area, and you got just some smaller roads covered in the west along the Mekong River. This is what this river is here, and it will be on the main road running a bit further north and down south, around the airport as well. Google car, exact same, mirrors and bars. This is what the centre looks like. A good thing to know about Savannakhet is if you have roof racks and mirrors, if you have visible Google car, and you got this very red soil, as you can see the soil's very red here. You're probably somewhere in Savannakhet or Pakse, as you can find very red soil in those two cities. And yeah, I think they do have a lot of Laos flags kicking about there too. It's probably a more patriotic city, I'd say. I've heard too many people talk about that, but yeah, Savannakhet is quite a patriotic city, I'd say. Sort of flags showing everywhere. But yeah, the best thing to notice about Savannakhet is this very red soil you find around there. This is the Mekong River. Again, looks a little bit like the Vientiane one, to be honest, but obviously you got the roof racks and that, and the mirrors, so good car visible. It's a bit different, but yeah, I guess another distinct look of Laos. All the parts of Laos is very different because all the cities are so spread out from each other, so they'll always have their very distinct looks, and that's how you can get extremely good guesses, even 5Ks, as I said earlier. But yeah, this is what the Mekong River looks like in Savannakhet. It's probably Thailand somewhere over there. And yeah, now we move on to Pakse. As you can see, the Pakse coverage quite a long distance of coverage. You got coverage running way out here on the 13, all the way down to the west bit, where it's a bit more urbanized, and you got some coverage running along this Lao Nippon Bridge, is what it's called, running over the Mekong River. Coverage on the 38 as well, and some just other roads there too. Google car, as I said, the exact same. I've told you a million times. I'll just put it in there just to help you out. This is the T junction. This is probably because as I said, the T junction is this road here, which is really right in the center, pretty much right in the center. This is what I'm showing you here. This is the T junction. A good thing to actually also know about Pakse is you often have red and white curbs, or black and white curbs. If you find sort of like black or white or red and white curbs in Laos, also with this red soil, it's a very, very good chance you're probably in Pakse. And also we got the hills in the background. In Savannakhet, it's a lot flatter. That's another thing about Savannakhet and Pakse. Savannakhet is a lot flatter, the elevation's not as big, but Pakse has more hills, so that's probably the best way to separate the two. All by the curves as well. Yeah, this is what the T-junction looks like, very busy, sort of urbanized area. Yeah, another distinct look. So there's just lots of these, as I've been talking about. These are some other parts. We got Eastern Pakse, like this is probably, I think this is on the 13, might be the 38 too though. Yeah, a bit more rural, I'd say, just a bit suburban. You got the hills in the background, very red soil. Here we have a black and white curve this time, but yeah, I'd say quite a distinct part of Pakse as well, I'd say. Yeah, good as well. And this is the Laos Nippon Bridge I was just talking about on the, here. This bridge here is what this is right here. As you can see, it's very red. It's a bit red tinged, the road and the bridge and everything. Even if you're on the water and that, it's very red tinged. Yeah, and it's probably the only bridge I think you find on the street view in Laos. So yeah, if you're on a bridge in Laos, you're just going to be in this road, this bridge in Pakse, and you can probably almost 5K it. So yeah, very good to know as well. And then here we go on the final. We got Western Pakse, probably the most urban looking part of Pakse. You got all the I guess you got the red and white curbs, you got all the buildings everywhere. Yeah, very busy part of Pakse. Looks probably more like this central business district area in the western part. And yeah, that's what that looks like. And yeah, guys, that will actually conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really do hope this helped you out. Comment down below if you think I didn't explain anything properly, or how can I explain things better. I might make some full guides to other countries, but yeah, I enjoyed making this one. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.